My friends Will and Sarah from Rolling with Two tagged me in this thing called Tabletop Tag.
Tag, you're it.
It's a series of like 20 questions, and we're gonna go through them today and try to nail all of them. And then I'm gonna tag some other people at the end that I think should also do this. So let's start off by talking about the first question. The first question is, how old are you? Where are you located? What's your name?
First off, I am 35 years old.
So my name is JT, I'm 42 years old.
42.
I'm also located in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we moved here 3 years ago today. I actually did like Monopoly growing up. But my favorite game, I think, if I recall correctly, would be Clue. And that's because I love deduction. Since then, though, I've actually come across a great game called Awkward Guest. And this is a fantastic game for deduction and gives you multiple ways to actually get to the same conclusion. It's a fantastic game. Anybody I've ever introduced this to has loved it. Some even went out and got it. All right, next up is, what year did I get into the hobby? So back in 2011, 2012, Tabletop came out with Will Wheaton. And, you know, I had played Hero Quest. I'd played some other modern war games with Catan. But what really got me in was Pandemic. It captivated me. I spent 25 games in a row with 4 people, losing every single time until we finally beat it. Now, here's a copy of it. This is actually Pandemic in the Lab, which is an expansion, and but I've got it all into one box. The reason why I love this is because they got little petri dishes and everything, if you've ever played Pandemic. But this isn't actually the original one that I bought. What I bought was the first edition, which the art wasn't all that great, and neither was the graphic design. But the new edition, the newer edition, is great. And it's a favorite of mine and my family's. In fact, one of the things that we've done is we've actually picked up and played Pandemic Legacy. Although it's going to be a legacy because I don't know when we're ever going to finish it. What other hobbies do I have? Well, some of it's creating YouTube videos, 3D printing. That actually kind of goes back to board games again. Playing games with my kids, like Carter here, and just trying to connect with people, hosting, having people over for dinners. I just really like people. There are themes that really get me. And if you want to know what those themes are, well, it is science fiction and it's Indiana Jones style. Okay, so Fortune and Glory.
Fortune and Glory.
It feels like Indiana Jones. You're globetrotting. You're actually fighting against Nazis, you're racing against Nazis to try to get the treasure before they do, so that you can get all the fortune and glory.
Fortune and Glory.
How about some of my favorite mechanisms? Well, one of them is dice worker placement, which Euphoria is really good at. What about game mechanisms that I don't like? Well, I would say that auctions, probably something I try to avoid in just about any game. There's really only been one game that I think has been able to pull that off for me, and that is Furnace. But Furnace's auction means you don't lose something, you always get something, even if you don't win the auction. And so I do like that a lot. The other thing I'm not really good at is area control. Now, I will play it, but I'm not very good at it. It's just not, it just doesn't kind of go in my brain the correct way.
I hope I didn't brain my damage.
The newest games in my collection is a game that takes me back to my childhood as a toy collector. And that's G.I. Joe, the deck building game. Now, I've only played through a little bit of the solo game, but what I see so far, I really like. If you like deck building, you love the theme of G.I. Joe, I think this is going to be really good. But more to come on that once I actually get to play it. All right, how about player count? Well, I want to say that my favorite player count is probably 3, actually more 4. Boy, you know what, it really, I think, depends on the game. You know, certain games you need 6, 8 players. Yeah, maybe I'm just going to change my mind on that one and not really give an answer.
Your indecision baffles and angers me.
Now, how about pet peeves? Now, one of my pet peeves is people flicking cards on the table. Just drives me nuts. The other thing that bothers me really is when people want to skip the rules explanation.
Listen.
And I know just as much as anybody, you just want to be able to jump in. You want to be able to know what's going on. But quite frankly, you need to just listen to the rules. So how about player color? Well, blue. Blue's my favorite color, so. And if I don't get blue, chances are, if you take it, I'm gonna be moving your pieces. So, just be warned. I think my favorite way to learn a game is just by getting it out and actually playing through a turn or two, just so I can get it out on the table. I cannot learn a game just by watching a video unless it's a simple game. All right. How about snacks? Carter, what do you think my favorite snack is? Peanut butter M&Ms. And yes, they're great. Now, as long as they're not melted, you can actually eat them and you don't get stuff all over your game components. So at the end of 2019, I went to PAX Unplugged, my first convention ever. Flew up to Philly from North Carolina, visited with a friend of mine, Kevin, had a really good time. It took a long time to get through the expo. And I'll say, as a guy that likes his peace and quiet, I think by the time I hit Sunday, we decided not to go back because we were so worn out. All the noise, all the walking around, the whole thing. The other one that I went to was here actually in Charlotte. And it was Tantrum Con, put on by Tantrum House, another YouTube channel out there. What they did was fantastic. I had so much fun to the point where I know I'm going back next year. So, how about a game that's unreleased that's coming out that I'm excited about? A game called ISS Vanguard. And what I really like about this game is that there is kind of this binder.
There's a binder?
Of upgrades and everything you're making to your ship and to your people. There's exploration of different planets. Kind of gives me that Star Trek kind of feel. And I'm really looking forward to this game. And what I love about board games is that you can connect with people, make events, and make memories together. When I get a game, what do? Do I punch it out right away? Do I take the wrap off and I get right into it? Or do I wait until I'm just about to play the game and do it? Well, I'm kind of in the middle. The way in which I do it is I actually take off the shrink wrap, I'll punch it before I'm going to play it for the first time, not during it. I used to do that a lot, but there's certain games that it took a long time to punch everything out. All right, so who am I tagging now, right?
Tag me!
Who else needs to go through this whole tabletop tag questionnaire, all right? Go through 20 questions. Well, I can name a few people. Number one, Daniel from Plumpy Thimble, tag, you're it. Kaz from the Dice Odyssey, tag, you're it. Well, that's it for me, and I just want to thank Will and Sarah from Rolling with Two for tagging me and doing this and making me do something in a video for once. I know it's been a while, so I appreciate those of you that have stuck around to listen to those 20 questions and get to know a little bit more about me. So I'm going to put these questions down in the description below. Come check them out and actually answer the questions yourself. You don't have to answer all of them, but maybe pick out 3 or 4 or 5 and put them down in the comments below and let me know what was the game that got you into the hobby, or what's your favorite childhood game. So tag, you're it. So Carter, what's your favorite game?
Fireball Island and a kind of card game, and I also like my games, and also a roller coaster game, and also there's another Fireball Island I also like.
Okay, very good.
Tag, you're it.